Welcome to another episode of Barstool Rockers, a journey down the rabbit hole of rock and roll's past, present, and future. Now, here are your hosts, Jim Finn and Dan Michaels.
Nothing says breakfast of champions like that big bowl of crap.
There's a title for the show right there, ladies and gentlemen.
But not Buffett. Here we go again. Yes.
It's an annual conversation.
I swear, nothing gets our cork like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Nothing torques us off.
We did get, it was like crappy news and good news yesterday, both, because we got this in the poo pile, and then we saw the list of things that are going to be available on Record Store Day coming up here, the Black Friday edition of that. So
yeah, you can totally inform us on all of that because I just got to look at it briefly, so I haven't seen everything.
I think what we'll do is we'll shoot for another episode to talk about that and maybe see if we can get a retailer involved with us or something like that.
I think we could do that.
To help us out, maybe bring them in the studio and chit-chat about it. But anyway, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame yesterday, the beloved Rock and Roll Hall of Fame yesterday, announced the list of nominees for the class of 2019.
It's not all bad.
No.
It's not all bad.
And a lot of the first-time nominees, I'm pretty cool with. It's Todd Rundgren, Stevie Nicks, Roxy Music, John Prine, Devo, Def Leppard. Those are all the first-time nominees. All the rest have been nominated before. Rage Against the Machine, also the Zombies, they've been nominated 3 times. They've been eligible since 1990. Kraftwerk has been nominated 4 times. The Cure has been available since 2004. Rufus and Chaka Khan. A lot of folks talking about that one.
I bet they are.
The MC5, Radiohead. This is their first year of eligibility, I believe. Janet Jackson.
Sounds about right, yeah.
Janet Jackson and LL Cool J, who has also been nominated 4 times. Now, one of the cool things, Pete, is Def Leppard. If they're inducted, they will be inducted with the late Steve Clark and Pete Willis. And Joe Elliott's talking about how it'll be cool. They'll be able to reconnect with him because they want to have him perform with them on stage. So that'll be a cool thing.
So that's on the plus side of things.
That's the plus side of things.
So who starts with this little chat?
The minus side of things is, I swear to God, and we've discussed this once before. You can go back and listen to our back and forth from a couple years ago. But the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, as it's presently going, needs wings, and it needs to call itself the Music Hall of Fame.
As previously discussed on a previous podcast.
You could have a folk singer-songwriter wing. You could have a pop wing. You could have a rock and roll wing. You could have all these different wings, and I think it would make people happy.
Because then, Dan, maybe a band like the Zombies, who have been around for ever, maybe it wouldn't quite take them so long to get inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. A band that should have been in there a long time ago.
Their first offering was in 1965, so that made them eligible in 1990. That was prior to, when did the Hall of Fame open its doors? Once upon a time, I bought a hat from a fledgling place called the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, and I think I still have said hat.
Have you ever been down there?
No.
No?
I'd like to go to the museum.
I would like to go too.
I think that would be fun, but I'm not sure I'd want to go to the Hall of Fame portion because I vehemently oppose the principle and guys like Dave Marsh running it.
I have, you've got a beef against Dave Marsh.
I know.
I have a friend who went to the induction when Cheap Trick went in. And I was so jealous of him for the fact. But, would I want to go?
That night, I bet you would have loved
that night I would have, yeah. And there have been previous years.
I would think when Rush was inducted, it would have been huge.
Yeah.
I would think that when Queen went in, it would have been huge.
When McCartney went in.
I don't think you would have wanted to be there when Kiss went in. That would have been your...
well, why not?
Your fort, but that's, I don't know. That's maybe me. Well, the thing about, circling back here, the thing about Dave Marsh that really just honks my horn is he sat there and made it out like John Bonham was just a big loser and was destroying Led Zeppelin and was was the weak member of the band. John Bonham is arguably one of the best rock and roll drummers there ever was.
For sure.
He was a force to be reckoned with, and when he laid down the beats, that was it.
He is up there with Keith Moon and
Neil Peart. Yep.
So,
And,
yeah.
I'd say he's definitely one of the icons. He also made a lot of nasty comments about Queen.
Dave Marsh did? What did he say about Queen?
I'd have to go look at the quote, but there is something.
But what does he know? What does Dave Marsh know?
Well, he's a critic. The doers do, the can't doers teach. If you can't do, teach, and if you can do neither, then be a critic.
Shut up.
Something like that. Yeah. So anyway, that's the whole thing, and between now and December 9th at 11:59 p.m. Eastern Time, you can go to rockhall.com/fanvote and cast a ballot for your choices. Top 5 will be included alongside the results from others sent to more than 1,000 artists, historians, and members of the music industry. So the inductees will be announced in December. So all of the fan votes, they say, get one vote together. I have a feeling there's a little, I don't know if it's, I'd like to believe that the fan vote would count bigger than one vote, but at the same time with that bunch, who knows?
Dan has already thrown his vote in for Janet Jackson.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Okay, whatever. She'd go in the pop wing. I don't care. If there was a pop wing, I'd say, okay, let's talk about them. Def Leppard.
Yeah.
I think they deserve to be in there. Do they deserve to be in, immediately? They've been eligible since 2005, and they've done quite a bit.
Mm-hmm. Many of these bands and performers have. And it's no offense against Janet Jackson, who...
She's a pop singer.
She does have talent. That's not the question.
No, exactly. She's a pop singer.
Yeah, it's this label, this rock and roll hall of fame. That doesn't have anything to do, that type of music doesn't have anything to do with rock and roll.
No.
Don't even get us started on Madonna.
No, exactly. And she was one of the early ones. So yeah, I think Def Leppard, for sure. It's a good ad. Could they wait a little while longer? Yeah, but especially with that band losing Steve Clark and Rick Allen losing an arm.
Yeah.
They're prone to a lot of bad things, and Vivian Campbell in his battle with cancer is pretty famous. So Phil Collin, on the other hand, he'll never die. He's the most healthy man I've ever witnessed in my life.
They've gone through it, though, haven't they?
Yeah,
They've really been through it. Yeah.
So yeah, definitely I'm okay with that one. Devo, I like them in there. They were a unique, one-of-a-kind band. And I'm fine with them being in there. Would they be, if there were Wings, would they be in rock and roll though, or would there be another?
Yeah. And that's what we talked about on the previous podcast, was that there should be Wings, and that it would just be much more easily defined if these people like John Prine, a great songwriter.
Absolutely.
A separate wing.
Yeah.
That's all we're asking for. But
just let it be defined a little more.
Who are the big fish to fry this time around?
Def Leppard, I think Stevie Nicks.
Yeah.
As a solo artist, she's been eligible since 2006.
Sure.
I think Rundgren is a big player because he's been an influencer.
Rundgren should have been in there, I believe, a long time ago. Not only as a performer, but as a producer. He's produced a lot of good stuff.
For sure. I think that, the Zombies were a big player in the early days, in the 60s, the late 60s and early 70s.
Yeah.
They were a staple.
They should just go in for Odyssey and Oracle. I mean, that's a masterpiece album. That they should just be in there for that.
I think Roxy Music is deserving.
Yep.
I think they definitely helped shape the industry and shape what music is.
Now, here's a question for you, because Roxy Music should definitely go in.
But do they go to a wing?
What about when Brian Ferry becomes, because he's got to be eligible as a solo artist? Does he go in there as well or is a separate wing for Brian Ferry? Avalon's a great album, but it's not.
Well, it's like we discussed in the episode a couple years back.
Yeah.
Brian Eno. There's another guy who should be in there.
Yeah.
He's an influencer.
Yeah.
There's a lot of folks like that. But where do they come in? So the other people on the list, LL Cool J, If there was a wing, I'd be okay with it. Not okay with him being called rock and roll. I'm not okay with Janet Jackson being called rock and roll.
No.
Rufus and Shaka Khan, again, it was a phenomenal package. I'm not okay with it being called rock and roll.
Don't try to sell me on the rock and roll.
Exactly.
Part of it.
Now, here we go. Rage Against the Machine. I think they can wait a while.
I am in total agreement with you. Total agreement with you. They're, great band, but
Same with Radiohead. I appreciate what they've done, but they're newly eligible. Yeah. I think there are wrongs that need to be righted. I think the ship needs to be balanced. I would love
to see Radiohead in there, but I do agree with you that wrongs need to be righted, and there are so many other bands. Has Jethro Tull even been nominated?
No. They're not even.
What
in
is
there.
that?
They're not in. They've been eligible since '93. The biggest snubs list here, by the way. Let's do that in a minute.
Okay.
MC5.
Yeah.
I think they're another band that if there were wings, if there were some division and some definition in there, I'd be with it.
Where would you put them? In more of a punk arena?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And you could even have it all be one big massive room. And that way you could have between rock and roll and punk, and you could have some gray space. You could have black and white carpet, but some gray space. Or maybe some walls and glass walls in areas.
We need to design it.
We do.
You and I need to go down there. We need to lay out the whole plan.
We do. Yeah. Absolutely. The Cure, again, but they were more pop, I think. They're more of a pop mainstream. And this is where I'd have to talk to the girlfriend and see, where does she define the Cure? Because she likes the Cure.
I love the Cure.
Yeah. And I like them. It's just, I don't think they belong in rock and roll. No.
Yeah.
Kraftwerk, I think they're kind of...
That's a separate wing, for sure.
Yeah. For sure. So
Trans-Europe Express.
I mean, someday we're going to be talking about bands like Ghost. And who does Du Hast?
Rammstein, yeah.
They're going to be another one. They're all going to have their own unique little places.
When they become eligible, you and I will be still doing the podcast. We'll be like, we got to get Ghost in there. I can't believe that they're eligible.
We got to escape for that rock festival this weekend. Okay, biggest snubs so far. Let's talk some snubs here. Jethro Tull, we just mentioned that. They've been eligible since 93. Judas Priest, another one.
Yeah.
They've been open since 99.
Yeah.
Iron Maiden has been eligible since 04. They should be in there.
Yeah.
They have fine beer. We've drank it on the podcast.
Many times. Trooper.
King Crimson. There's one I don't understand.
Yeah.
Emerson, Lake and Palmer, another one that I just don't understand.
Rights or wrongs that need to be righted.
Exactly. Motorhead, I think they should be in.
For sure.
Ozzy, he should go. Pat Benatar. Procol Harum. I think they should be in there.
Agreed.
Let's see what else. The Doobies. They were a huge player for the longest time. Now, that was that California sound. They kind of fell into that manufactured theory for a while there, didn't they? Where the labels, people thought that the labels were just kind of cranking the music themselves.
Yeah, well, they definitely had two distinct eras once they got into the Michael McDonald thing.
That definitely changed the path. Yeah, definitely. That was the more, you don't know me, but I'm your brother. That era.
Have you ever seen the Second City, the SCTV sketch with Rick Moranis, where he's playing the part of Michael McDonald and he's running? Because you remember when Michael McDonald was doing backup vocals on everything?
Yes, I saw that. I saw a skit somewhere along the way where it was Michael McDonald sings with everyone.
Yeah, he's just running from studio to studio, popping in for like 2 seconds to put his backup vocal, and then he'd run off and get to another studio.
I'll have to look that one up.
It's good stuff.
If I can find it, I'll include it on the show notes part of the website.
All right.
By the way, that's barstoolrockers.com.
Barstoolrockers.com.
Yes, thank you. Back to this. Bad Company. I think they're due. The Guess Who. Yeah. There's another one. They're huge.
I heard Randy Bachman's going to be in town.
Ooh,
isn't he?
Really?
Yeah.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Be very cool. Faith No More. I think they should go in.
Definitely.
They're young. Yep. It's youngish, but they had an impact.
Yeah.
They definitely put their mark down. In Excess is probably another band that at some point here, granted, we don't have Michael Hutchence, but I think the band needs
Still
to
should
be. Yeah. What else do we have here? Motley Crue, at some point, I'd say, before they die.
We have got to see that. When they reunite and they have everybody there, we've got to.
Can they? No, they just can't tour. They can perform. They just performed. They actually did some songs for The Dirt.
Yeah.
The soundtrack for that. But, And then Vince Neil was just with Sammy on stage here over the weekend.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of commentary about that. Yeah. Warren Zevon, he's been eligible since 94.
Yeah.
He should be in there.
Yeah. There's another person. But see, now he is rock and roll.
Yeah.
In my mind, he is rock and roll, but also major singer-songwriter.
Thin Lizzy.
Yeah. Oh, I can't believe they're not in there.
Let's see here. War. That's a possible.
Sure.
Three Dog Night. I mean, there was...
Yeah. Dude, that's a good one.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
I think they should be in.
Yeah.
What else do we have out here? The Runaways. We've discussed this one before. I think they should be in there.
Definitely.
That's a defining band in the history of rock and roll that is not in there. No. What else? The Replacements. They're kind of a...
Yeah.
They're more of a... Were they as impactful nationally, or was it more of a regional thing? Do the folks on the coasts look at the Replacements as greatly as those of us here in the heartland do?
They got quite a bit of coverage after they started. I mean, they pretty much built First Avenue, the Replacements, seventh entry. But it started regional, but I think they got pretty massive pretty quick.
So that's another one. Who else is on there? Slayer's on there. They'd be kind of in that metal wing we talked about once upon a time. The Smiths, they could go. The Spinners, they're kind of more of that was more of the disco era, wasn't it? Yeah.
I don't know about the Spinners.
I'm going off a list that I found from one of the Cleveland media outlets.
Right. Even when you brought up the Smiths, I have a couple of sons that'll probably strangle me for this. But when you brought up the Smiths, that's along this different style than the Cure, but almost the same type of argument as far as, do they go towards more of a pop arena than they do a rock? Because they don't.
We should do a round table at some point.
We should.
Get the sons in here and get the girlfriend in here, and they can tell us how wrong we are.
Slap us upside the head.
T-Rex.
Oh, yeah.
Got to go.
Definitely. Yeah.
XTC.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could be there. Even Weird Al is eligible. Where do you put Weird Al? If he's eligible, where do you put him?
In the rock and roll parody wing of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Tool, Stone Temple Pilots, they're all available, eligible. Steppenwolf, they could go in.
They should be in.
Yeah. Soundgarden, I think at some point should go in.
Yeah.
They were big. Smashing Pumpkins.
Because Pearl Jam's in now, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So, Soundgarden and Alice in Chains.
Yeah.
Should.
And they're up here on the list, so I'll scratch them off. What about Jane's Addiction?
Yeah.
I'm thinking they were a big band.
Yep.
I'm thinking, So, Rock Hall folks, are you listening, Dave Marsh? Are you actually listening, or do you only listen to yourself?
Your buddy, Dave Marsh.
Megadeth.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Mustaine should go in because he played a big role. Smashing Pumpkins. Susie and the Banshees.
No?
Did you know that the Roots are eligible?
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not only are they
surprising.
a late night TV band, they're also eligible for the Rock Hall.
You're not talking about the Grassroots. You're talking about
just
the Roots.
Yes. New York Dolls.
Oh, yeah.
Put them
David
in.
Johansen.
What about, okay, now here's one. I don't know if we talked about this before. The Monkees. What do you do with something like that?
What do you do? See, different wings. If you have different wings, they could go in.
Well, if you put the Monkees in, then you're forced to address the Partridge Family. Right?
Hey, I don't know what I'm up against. I got so much to scream about.
Josie and the Pussycats come in.
Josie and the Pussycats, the Archies.
Do we have animated? Yeah, that's Okay, maybe there's honorable mention.
Yeah.
section. Maybe
I think so, yeah.
Let's see here. Peter, Paul, and Mary. That's that folk wing.
Yeah, put them in the folk wing.
Stone Roses.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a possibility. Pantera, 9 Inch Nails. My Bloody Valentine is eligible.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Wow, that one I find surprising.
Yeah.
9 Inch Nails should be in.
Sure. Actually, absolutely. Captain Beefheart.
Yeah.
I would say
Definitely.
has to go.
Yeah.
Now, here's two. We discussed these. I think the singer-songwriter wing, if it were there, for sure. Jim Croce.
Singer-songwriter wing, yeah.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
But what about Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? If there were no wings, does Croce go in? For his era, he was.
He
And Harry Chapin. Mm-hmm. They were both massive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So there's that one. And then Jeff Buckley.
Yeah.
Where do you go with that one? You know, he's more of an alternative guy. He's more of but he's a legend.
I think that's what we've defined as the problem, is that you cannot really, when you hear the words Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, you immediately get judgmental as far as what is rock and what is not rock. But should these people, should they be honored in some fashion? I mean, the Monkees, a perfect example.
Well, and this is where, are we just hitting a generational wall here with ourselves? Are we in a place where we see rock and roll as X and it does not fall outside of X?
We're purists, Dan.
We are
purists.
We are. We're those sons of bitches that are purists.
We still gotta hold that flag, man. We're up there on the hill. Oh!
We will happily hear your feedback on this, by the way. Chime in. I'd love to hear from people. You can send us a note, barstoolrockers@gmail.com. I'd love to hear what people think of this. Mm-hmm. And like I said, maybe we should get the sons and my girlfriend in here, and maybe we should discuss this as a round table to maybe enlighten us to I don't know. What's the right word? I don't.
Just to balance it out, instead of just having us two windbags go on about our beefs with the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, just to hear a different perspective would be nice.
Maybe we can get Dave Marsh on the phone, see what he says.
Let's do that.
How many times have I said his name in this one now? Oh,
the lawsuit is coming. No.
But yeah, the induction comes at Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York on March 29th the next year in a ceremony that will be broadcast live on SiriusXM's Rock and Roll Hall of Fame radio station. Full information if you'd like tickets will be announced in January. Donors and members in good standing by December 31st will have access to a pre-sale beginning on an as of yet to be announced date. I doubt that you or I are on that list.
No, I don't think so.
I don't think I'm in good standing.
If you could pick one that isn't in yet, who would it be?
From this year's nominees or in general?
Let's start with this year's nominees.
I'd say from this year's nominees, I'm gonna go Def Leppard.
Okay.
I like them. I've met them. They're good people.
Yeah.
And they're just taking it very much in stride. What about you?
I loves me my Radiohead, but in the grand tradition of wrongs that need to be righted, I'm going to go with the Zombies. Just because. Yeah.
They got to go in. Any big standout notes for you?
As far as,
I don't know.
I just think
are there any snubs that we didn't bring up? I mean, I can go get the other list.
You listed a lot of them. I mean, some of those here. Give me the sheet that you have there.
It's all blacked out. I marked them all off.
Let me see.
I mean, Priest is huge.
Yeah,
Priest would be huge.
Really, just going back in time. You know my feelings about the Replacements. They definitely should be in there. Just some of these iconic bands that have worked the turf of rock and roll for so many years. Jethro Tull? Are you kidding me? Jethro Tull is not in there. The Guess Who is not
Lake
in
Palmer.
there. I can't believe that Ozzy isn't in there as a solo artist. Procol Harum, to me, that's sacrilege. Warren Zevon. I mean, King Crimson.
Yeah.
They all.
And we could sit here and do a whole hour on Emerson, Lake and Palmer. We should get Robert Barry on the line.
We should get him back on the line.
And talk about Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
get his insight, his opinion on it.
We should also get Jeff Pilson back on the line and talk about the new Dokken that's going to be on the way. That'd be a fun one, too.
Idea.
So there's some ideas. By the way, I saw a story this morning. Marillion's doing an orchestral tour next year in the UK.
Yeah.
Is there a Finn family road trip on the way for that now?
Boy, I tell you, finances are getting real tight these days because they have their Montreal weekend coming up next year. So that's a trip.
I've always told you, just let me spend your money and I'll
figure it out for me.
There you go. We'll send you to all the good places.
In addition, what I'd like to add is Nick Mason's Saucer Full of Secrets has been playing dates in the UK. There has been talk about them coming over here doing some U.S. tour dates next year, come across the pond. I would love to see that.
Wouldn't it be amazing if they do, if the Pink Floyd Experience would come to the States and Nick Mason's band would do, and it'd all be housed down in Chicago?
Oh, that would be sweet.
It'd be odd. It's the middle. Come on. It's the middle ground.
Middle
not
ground.
Coast.
We travel for it.
We travel. Absolutely.
Yeah. And I hate going to Chicago.
I just did it this past weekend. So, there you go.
Yeah.
Anyway, if you want to check out any more on things, you can visit us on the website. It's barstoolrockers.com. We do want to thank everybody for checking in and listening. And if you're hearing us for the first time and you like it, well, gosh darn it, make some noise about it on social media and let people know, because we really do appreciate it. We're trying to grow this thing, and not really for money. We don't make money. In fact, there's money spent to keep this thing going, but we'd love to hear from you. And so barstoolrockers.com, you can contact us through there. It's barstoolrockers@gmail.com. You can subscribe on iTunes. We are on Spotify. We are on the iHeartRadio app. And I'd love to have you, check in on any one of those three platforms or any other platform, really. Make sure you review us. Make sure you subscribe. That's a big thing. Keep the numbers going for us. Even if you don't listen, subscribe.
Yeah.
Because it actually makes us look better to the powers that be at Apple and here at the iHeart
Mothership.
At the Mothership, yes. So
we definitely appreciate it. So thanks for listening. And we got to have some guests in here to fill out the round table. Thank you for listening.
I like how you say exactly what you're thinking, even when it's completely insane.